Hello, chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel, and welcome to the Tata Steel Masters tournament in 2020 in Wijk in Netherlands. So, after covering a great game played by Alireza Firouzja against Vladislav Kovalov from the round one, I decided to show you another game. It is Magnus Carlsen versus Anish Giri. Anish Giri is sort of a player I think Magnus Carlsen really likes to play against, because Magnus played really some great attacking brilliancy in the past against Anish Giri. He managed to also crush Anish in one game in 25 moves. But Anish Giri is really a tough guy, I think, in chess. He's not. There is a reason why he is always around 2800 rated, because he has, I think, a great opening preparation. Basically, winning Anish Giri is possible if you get out of his opening preparation. When you get into his very familiar lines, I think Anish Giri can play for a draw immediately. So let's see the game, what happened, which opening Magnus Carlsen chose. It's very interesting also for me to see which openings Magnus Carlsen will play now in the next couple of tournaments, because I think he doesn't want to show his cards, because in this year he'll defend his title in the World Championship match against his challenger. So I've noticed sometimes that Magnus Carlsen is not revealing his openings, is not revealing his opening preparations. He played now very often the Scandinavian defense against e4, so I'm very interesting to see if he's gonna choose this particular opening, for instance, after e4, if he's going to go into the Scandinavian in the World Championship match. So I don't think, as I said, that Magnus Carlsen will reveal too many of his openings preparations. He'll try maybe some different lines. That's why here I think he played the move c4, so the English opening, but I'm not sure if he's going to play the English opening very often in the World Championship match. So let's see what happened here. Magnus, as said, played the move c4. The English, we have knight to f6, knight to c3, we have e5, we have the reversed Sicilian setup. It's a common way for black to proceed here. It's a great thing, I think, to go really into a reverse Sicilian setup. With preparation, you have always the possibility to push the pawn on d5 and really challenging white center control. So here Magnus played the move e3, although the most often line is this knight to f3 after something like knight to c6, g3, going into the reversed dragon Sicilian, or this the accelerated dragon Sicilian setup with bishop to g2, controlling the d5 square with something like d3, maybe rook to b1, and trying b4, b5. But this is the most often line I think that's played these days, if you of course play the English opening. But now Magnus goes into the e3 line, and here Anish Giri plays, I think, a great move. It's knight to c6, because there is one rule in chess: you should really bring out your knights as soon as possible, because the knights are controlling the center very well. So that's why here this knights are very dominant. Of course, Magnus can always play the move d4, but then I think black can counterplay in the center with the move d5. So here Magnus played queen to b3, not allowing this idea of Anish Giri to play the move d5, which is also a common line. And now here g6 played by Anish Giri, a common move. I think it's a great move also, because it's a fast developing move. Now bishop to g7 and castling, not pushing pawns in the center immediately, not preparing some pawn breakthroughs. Here Anish Giri plays positionally, tries to secure his kings first. So here comes this move knight to f3, and maybe Anish should have proceeded here with the move e4. I'm not sure. I just like this line. It's more aggressive. Here e4 after knight to g5. We could try queen to e7 now, but there is a problem for white. We have always this advanced pawn, and now if you try something like knight to b5, we can secure everything with the move d6, because the queen is covering, and in the next move we could try maybe h6, kicking away the knight. So maybe this is a more aggressive way to proceed here, but as I said, Anish Giri is not this aggressive chess player. He's a positional player. I think he likes to secure kings first, trying to play on positional and strategical advantages like weak pawns, weak squares. I liked his style. I cannot complain about his style. I'm just saying he's not this direct player. He's not, I think, a great attacker. He has a great positional understanding, but here I think maybe e4 would be a nice idea here to proceed. So bishop to g7, we have a d4 by Magnus, e takes d4, e takes d, and castling. Now you see there is one problem now for Magnus Carlsen. He cannot, he has 2 more moves in order to castle to secure his king, so that's why bishop to e2, and now d6. Maybe a better way is even, again, you see the differences maybe between Anish Giri and an aggressive player. I don't like Ding Liren, maybe Hikaru Nakamura. I'm sure Hikaru or Ding Liren would have played something like d5 here, immediately cracking the position, because d5 leads into a very interesting line. After c takes d, knight to e7 is very good. I think you can proceed simply recapturing here the pawn on d5 and leaving white with an isolated pawn. Here bishop to g5 is a possibility, but now knight to d5, and here white, I think, needs to castle, and we're continuing the game with this strategical weakness in white's position, this isolated pawn. Still, we can fix the position around this knight on d5 with the move c6, and still we have a good diagonal for our bishop, so bishop to g4 and bishop to f5 is the possibility. So you see again, Anish Giri is playing a positional move, not the most aggressive move, and here Magnus simply castled. Rook to e8, here Magnus played h3, slightly inaccuracy maybe, because rook to e1 would be a better way, because after bishop to g4, here bishop to e3 covers everything. You cannot take the pawn on b7, that's the problem. Bishop to f3, bishop takes f3, but now you see you lose your rook on the e file and you get checkmated, so you would be forced to recapture with the pawn g takes f3, but now knight to d4 is very dangerous. But after this move bishop to e3, I think white has solved all of the positional problems, still with this attack on the pawn on b7, so and with the preparation to play the move h3, because after the move h3 the bishop has to capture or go to a passive square, here maybe to d7. Here Magnus tried a prophylactic move with the move h3, but now it leaves Anish Giri the opportunity to immediately equalize the position with the move knight to e4. So here Magnus didn't compete on the e file, so it allows now Anish to play this very active move, knight to e4, knight takes e4, rook takes e4, and now bishop to e3. But there is a problem here, this weak pawn on d4, and here Anish decided to take the pawn, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes, and now bishop to f3 attacking the rook. It seems that maybe Anish has made a mistake here, because the rook cannot protect the bishop anymore, but there is one square for the rook. It's a little bit weird, but rook to h4 was played the correct move. Now g3 is not a possibility, because there is a great tactical line which black can play. Bishop takes e3, after queen to e3 we could take this pawn on c4, so that's why you're forced to take out the rook. But now after bishop to d4, this is not a good position, I think, for white, because the bishops are aiming here on the king side, and we have 2 weaknesses, a weak pawn on h4 and on h3. I think this is a better position even for black, although down the exchange. So but it's very hard to defend here with the possibilities after queen to h4 to play something like queen to g3, bishop takes h3. These are these tactical possibilities, and I think, as I said, black is simply better. So in the game, bishop to d4 was played by Magnus. After this move, rook to h4, rook takes d4 was played, and now bishop to b7. Rook to b8 seems like a good move, but now queen to c3 is this possible counterattack. So here you can try maybe c5, but we can simply trade off, and after rook to d1 we could simply play against this backward pawn on d6, and this would be a drawish position for both sides. So here after bishop to b7 we have bishop takes b7, queen to b7, rook takes c4, and now rook from a to c1 played by Magnus Carlsen, challenging Anish Giri's rook on c4. And here Anish had maybe a better continuation. He took the rook on c1. After rook to c1 it led to a very equalized game, but maybe a better way is to proceed here with the move rook to b8, attacking the queen. After rook takes queen takes a7, here we could try rook to c1, rook takes, and but now rook to b2 is the possibility. Here queen takes queen takes c7, queen takes c7, rook takes c7, rook takes a2. But now after rook to d7, here you can protect the pawn and go into a favorable endgame with one pawn up. In this position, if you capture with the rook, rook takes c7, then we have rook to a2, deflecting the queen from the defense of this rook. So again, black will continue the game with one pawn up. But here, after the move rook to b8, there is this line. Okay, you could try maybe taking the rook here on b8, because after queen to b8 we could take another rook. But there is this problem again. Here we can take another pawn. After rook takes c7, we can take another pawn, and we'll have two pass pawns. It's very hard for white to proceed here. But Anish Giri played rook takes c1, rook takes c1, and now c5, trying to improve the position of this pawn. But again, you're leaving this backward pawn here on d6, so that's why rook to d1 played by Magnus, simply attacking this pawn. And now rook on b7, b8, attacking the queen. We have queen takes a7, rook takes b2. But now Magnus finds a very nice move, queen to c5, d takes c5, and now rook takes d8, king to g7, rook to c8, rook takes a2, rook takes c5. And in this position, both players agreed to a draw. It is, of course, a draw. It's we have the same material on the board. Nothing can happen here, and this is a theoretical draw. And Magnus didn't win the game, which can be a surprise, but it doesn't have to be. I think Anish Giri played a great game. The advantage was on his side through the whole game. I think he played a very nice opening line with this fast developing style, and I'm very satisfied to see that he has really played a normal game and really a calm game against the world champion Magnus. And Magnus, I don't think that he's satisfied with his draw with the white pieces in the first round, especially against Anish Giri. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. Meanwhile, you can watch my other commented chess games with some more Magnus Carlsen games and some, I don't know, Ricardo, Viciana, and Fabiano Caruana games from many, many tournaments. And you can also watch my best chess games of all time if you want to see the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.